Gonna make this clickbaity video, even though it's not clickbait, but it's clickbait because of the title, but this is actually what I'm gonna talk about. So welcome back. It's Friday. I'm a bit late. Today I'm going to combine two videos into one. I'm going to do my hair because I'm running out of time, and I'm going to talk about something that came up again this week. But first, as always, check the description. I have two features in books that is linked in the description. Buy the books, give me some money. I am broke, help me. Check my social medias. I actually made a new Instagram, so that is linked, and I will be changing the description of my other videos from probably a couple months back. So, your boy's starting over. I need to stop saying your boy every 10 seconds. Topic of today's video, am I trans? This has been a thing since I was 12? Context, when I was a young warthog. That was a thing people used to try to insult me, which I don't understand because that's not an insult, but back in the day it was. This is 2009. Dear God, I'm old. People would literally call me transy. I shit you not, that's exactly what they said. As an insult. So, the reasoning back then, I was told, was that they thought my boobs were fake because my voice was so low. And I'm like, have you never seen a woman of color before? Yeah, my voice is low. That's a genetic thing. Yeah, my boobs are huge. That's a genetic thing. But I live in a place that is 90% white people and everybody else is Native American or not from here. So they probably never had seen someone who is like that before, to be quite honest. Or if they had, they weren't paying attention because it was while they were on vacation, because everyone I went to middle school with was we're not just talking rich I'm jealous, legitimately making well over $100,000 a year rich. Do I care? No, because so am I. They were using it as an insult. I don't know why. All I knew was I did not like people saying things that weren't true. And I did not like people going out of their way to try to insult me. Sometimes it was because I was actually honest, but by offended, not honest. Jeez, I can talk. Sometimes it was because I was actually offended and insulted, but by halfway through 8th grade, I didn't care anymore. I was just I wanted them to leave me alone. I got to a point where I was I don't care what you say at this point. I just, truth defends itself. Offense comes by truth. I don't really care. But the fact that you think your opinion should matter to me bothers me. So I would literally say anything just to get them to stop talking. I would apologize for stuff I didn't actually do and stuff that realistically never happened, just so they would leave me alone. Not even to keep friends, just so they would stop talking about it. And this was never one of those things because it just bothered me so much. I almost want to say reverse body dysmorphia, but that's not how that works. Because I would look in a mirror or a phone screen or anything reflective for years anytime I walked past it, just to convince myself I didn't actually look hyper masculine, because you can hear your own voice all the time, but you can't see your own face all the time. But finally I got to senior year of high school. No one had brought it up in years, but it was still in my brain. At that point I was you know what? I don't even care about either binary standard, shall we say. I don't care about gender roles. I am in choir, but I'm also in sports. In choir, I have been both an alto 2 and a soprano 1. I don't care about dressing to fashion trends anyway, let alone deciding whether or not they fit my biological sex. Literally, the only thing I'm into that's, quote, feminine is makeup. And realistically, guys wear makeup too, and it's not just a new thing, have you heard of goth? I just stopped caring. Took me a little bit longer to realize that I identify as agender. And what that means is I don't really care, I guess is the best way I can describe it. I don't feel a need to be masculine or feminine. So, like, it's non-binary, but it's not trans. But the reason, again, everyone thought I was trans was because they had never seen someone with my traits before. Yeah, I'm biologically female, I just don't care. And I realize I look very feminine right now, but I still don't care. I use they, them pronouns. I really don't care if someone says he or she. Sometimes it still bothers me just because I was used to it bothering me for so long, but it doesn't actually annoy me anymore. I'm like, yay, someone's actually being accepting for once. So the reason I'm talking about this is because on my 2 videos ago, somebody commented some crap. Y'all can go read it, like, it's still there. And after I read it, I realized, wait, do I even talk about being gay or non-binary in this video? And I watched the whole thing again, and I literally had never mentioned it, so I'm just like, I have to assume that either you thought I was trans because of the same reasons, or that you looked at my hair and went, there's no heterosexual explanation for this. Because honestly, like, I don't talk about it that much. And then the other reason is because it reminded me of one of my friends who, don't get me wrong, I love him. Like, this is I'm actually happy about this. He asked me if I was trans, but the reason he was asking was because he wanted to respect me if I was and use the correct pronouns. He wasn't trying to insult me like everybody the frick else. And it was nice to see that difference for once, because usually I'm the one doing that, trying to be respectful of other people, and they're all just like making their assumptions and shit. Like, he's gay, so I guess he understands that it's important, but still, I'd literally never seen it before. And honestly, gay men are the ones who make sexist jokes a lot of the time in my experience, so just saying. The reason that I think this is important is because a lot of people don't like being stereotyped, yet we don't even realize some of the stereotypes that we reference on a daily basis, and one of those is this weird-ass idea that your voice and your gender go together. Like, obviously, puberty, your voice changes, but that's literally the only sexual thing about your voice. If your voice is low, it has to do with the size of your lungs and your vocal cords and how long in particular your vocal cords are. It has nothing to do with your gender, even if you factor in the quote Adam's apple thing. Like, there are people who have really prominent Adam's apples that don't have the voice you would expect. Like, it has nothing to do with it. So, I honestly have no clue why that's there. I don't know what it's for. But it's like, your voice will sound... And then, even then, it's like environmental things can change your voice too. My voice is actually higher than it was a couple of years ago because I spent years training to increase my range singing so that I could do soprano things, like for solos and shit. So I ended up actually having my voice be higher. And another reason it is because I spent 2 years talking in a different voice at school so people would stop calling. Again, I literally did anything I could to get people to leave me alone. And one of those things was... This is actually painful for me to do. I'm gonna make this really obnoxious. I literally talked like this for I don't know, 2.5 years or something like that at school, because I just wanted to fit in and I wanted everyone to accept me, and literally everyone else sounded like this, and I was sitting in the corner like, sick beats, bro. The reason, I think, hear me out. I'm a conspiracy theorist. The reason that Americans, because literally British people don't give a shit, Australians don't give a shit, no other language gives a shit, it's just Americans. The reason we're all having a high voice is feminine and having a low voice is masculine is because our society has a lot of problems with gender-based violence. So do all the other societies, I'm fully aware of that, but hear me out. Other than Japan, and honestly, do we even know if this is true if we don't live there, because it might just be an anime thing? Other than Japan, theoretically, don't know if this is true. Or another stereotype. The United States sexualizes youth, but also being older than you are, simultaneously to a ridiculous extent. And little kids have high-pitched voices. And we all know that, everyone ever is ooh, get the older man, but, women should always look young. We all know that that's a thing in America. And so if you think higher pitched voices are more feminine, could it be because women are sexualized to seem younger? Like, realistically, what's the other option here? Because, again, like gay guys, especially if they have high voices, get made fun of for being feminine, and in a negative way, of course, because God forbid we celebrate women. And they also get treated like they're weak, like little kids. And boys, in general, like cis boys with higher pitched voices, get treated like they're weak and they're somehow like younger, more feminine, more fragile, whatever. It's just a thing. Like, and then on the reverse, women, cis women with low voices get called dyke, or they get called bitch, or people think that they're trans, or people think that they're aggressive, even though they're literally just talking about normal stuff. So it's like more attractive, I guess, in our society for cis women to have high-pitched voices and cis men to have low-pitched voices because of that whole age difference predatory bullshit that's sexualized all the time. Like, not even just quote in the media, like you walk in a fucking store and they've got, the store I fucking work at, salt and pepper, like gray hair touch-up things for guys so they can look old but not too old, and fucking anti-wrinkle cream for women. Like, it's clear in our society that women are supposed to look youthful no matter what. And again, kids have high-pitched voices, so there's a correlation there. I personally think that no one would care, because I've met a ton of guys, straight guys, and also a ton of bisexual women who think that women with lower voices are really attractive. So, like, realistically, everyone still has their own preferences, but society as a whole has this whole thing going on. And no one even realizes where it comes from. Like, if everyone took a step back to make the same connection, not that I'm saying I'm better or that I'm the only person who made that connection, because I'm sure a lot of people talk about it, the infantilization of women. If everyone took a step back to think about that, then everyone would realize that their own preference may or may not match up with that whole societal standard. I mean, I like guys with low voices if I like straight guys, but that's because I'm a singer and I like bass. It has nothing to do with me thinking they're more masculine, because the last, 4 guys I've talked to, with the exception of my ex, have higher voices than I do. And I used to feel uncomfortable about that. I used to get really self-conscious about it, because like I said, I knew that transgender was being used as an insult against me. And, let's be real, a lot of straight guys freak out when they find out someone's trans. They act like it's the worst thing ever and that you were lying to them about who you are as a person, when it's like, well, you wouldn't have fucking known if I didn't tell you, so clearly it's not a big deal, but, yeah. So between those two things, I would just get so awkward if a guy had a higher voice than me, to the point where it probably ruined some of my potential relationships. I'll be honest, I was too self-conscious, and now I don't care. Now I'm just like, yeah, I wear a lot of makeup, I have really long nails, whatever, but I also dress like a guy, I wear men's clothing. I really do not care what someone calls me as far as pronouns go. All I know is I don't really want to live in a society that acts like something, A, that you can't control that much. To sit there and somehow make that a sexual thing that makes you more or less worthy of attraction, and it's still in a very binary, cis and heteronormative way. I don't want to be a part of that. If I'm going to sound like a dude to some people, and they're going to think that because I have a big butt and wear a lot of makeup that makes me less attractive, then I don't want them in my life, because A, I don't care what gender you think I am, and B, it shouldn't matter, because your sexuality, if you're not attracted to non-binary people, that's fine. No one can control their sexuality, straight people included. But to sit there and act like that makes me ugly just because you're not attracted to it, that's the same thing as saying that fat people, they're unattractive to me, so they should be unattractive to everybody. No, that's not how that works. Or people with piercings, or people with southern accents, that's a big one. I don't know, a lot of people hate that. I don't really give a shit. To sit there and say that your preference should be everyone's standard is where I draw the fucking line. You don't have to sit there and go, well, you look like this, so that means you are this, in any situation, and I don't know why people don't think that includes gender. Pause. I need to wash this crap off my hands. Where's my towel? The short version is, if you don't want to watch all of that, I'm going to edit it, but it's pretty long right now. The short version of all of that is, you can't assume what someone is in any way based on physical things that they probably can't control. So, and you shouldn't use it as an insult. You shouldn't use anything people can't control as an insult, and you shouldn't use anything non-problematic that people use to describe their identity as an insult. If you can relate to this at all, let me know. If you're comfortable talking about your gender identity, let me know so you can like compare notes. If you want tips on how to talk to people about gender identity, I can either answer you in the comments, I can DM you, or I can make another video on it, because honestly I feel more comfortable doing talking videos right now than makeup videos. I'm still trying to figure out the voiceover thing. My last video is too long to edit, so I don't know what to do with it. Oh, I feel so much better. Point to make. This could be its own video topic, actually. I don't think that anyone who has naturally curly hair and straightens it is doing it voluntarily. I might make a video about that. But yeah, I identify as agender, non-binary, but not trans. I am not insulted if someone thinks I'm trans anymore. I just wanted to clarify because it keeps coming up. If you like this video, let me know. If you want similar videos, let me know. Again, check the description for all my links, and I will see you next week.